So I saw this today. Trans women can teach you more about femininity than cis women can any day of the week. That's not a challenge, it's an invitation. I replied to that is true. And it's true purely because if we're talking about femininity, we're talking about gender ideology and how a woman should be like. Yes, you can, because you are the men that invented that rubbish for us to be oppressed with. The issue is that you still don't have a clue about womanhood, and yet, you know, they're trying to take over. And this is the important difference. So let's have a look at what womanhood means then. So womanhood in this respect means things like, for example, few cases, Savita's case, Alapanavar, I think is the surname. She was in Ireland, and because of the heavy laws about, you know, not having an abortion when she died of sepsis. She had a terrible death because the baby that was non-viable and was producing a sepsis in her body was the most important thing. She was seen as a vessel, and therefore, you know, she was redundant in this discussion. She knew she was very ill. She was begging for an abortion, and she couldn't have one, so she died. And then we have the case in Poland similarly, and we have, of course, stories of, you know, in El Salvador and putting women in jail for having a miscarriage. So we're not even talking about making the decision of having an abortion, which should be a right for all women, but this is womanhood. This is the part that we endure as women in our bodies. This is it. This is not a disguise. This is not something you can put. This is not lipstick and high heels. You know, this affects all of us women, regardless. So I think it's extremely important to make those concepts clear, because what I'm coming to realize these days is that double truth that is being played constantly against us. So for example, in Spain, when this thing about the menstrual leave was presented recently, it was a lot of people going backwards and forwards with the concepts, you know. So we have one of the people in the government saying, you see, if men had a period, you know, things would be different. And then everybody went against him. I was like, oh, I thought you said that men can have periods. So we really have to push for that double truth not to be acceptable, because it cannot be that, you know, sometimes women are the women, sometimes women are not women, sometimes trans women are more women than women. All of that cannot coexist. So I am now pushing for, let's stick to one of them, which one is going to be, because it's still used politically in many ways and in many forms, this kind of constant game of altering reality, changing words as we please. So we should really hold them accountable for that. If you say woman here, you cannot say trans woman here for the same purpose. And I think that's very, very important. I think that we, you know, that can never be accepted. We have to actually call them transphobic then. It's like, which one is going to be? If you're saying that men cannot menstruate in this particular occasion, how can you say it in the other one? You know, so I think we need to really think about that consistently.